Hey everyone, it's Christina back again with another episode. So I'm going to forewarn you now. Go ahead, grab your pen, piece of paper, your favorite beverage, get comfortable. Today we're talking with one of my favorite people. And I think you guys by now probably had a couple emails come through if you're a subscriber. So if you're not, go ahead and make sure you subscribe now so you can get on the email list. Very important. So who I'm talking about today and what we're talking about is all about trying your best to understand finances, get a little bit more financially literate than what you were before. It's all about those building blocks, trying to build a solid understanding about how money works and how it can benefit you. Now, as you guys know, my secret sauce to anything is money is not the key to happiness. So it's all about understanding money and how it can benefit you without overreaching. So that's one of the secrets. And sometimes what we don't really openly talk about is how you can do that. A lot of times it comes down to understanding how to invest, how to save better with the money that you already have. And as you guys know, one of my favorites is how to actually trade to where you're making your money work for you better. So Myrna is one of my favorite people here. She is here. She's ready to get going to tell you guys all about how to do so. She also has a couple of programs that I really think will benefit you. So I want to make sure you really take note throughout the podcast, but also with your keen ears, stay to the end so that you can get some of those programs that she's rolling out now that will really benefit you. So Myrna, if you don't mind, can you tell the folks that's listening right now a little bit about yourself?
Hey, hello everyone. My name is Myrna Lane Hippolyte, and I am the CEO and founder of Empower Financial Wellness. I essentially am a money coach, and what do? I help women, primarily women of color, but women overall. I help them, high achieving women, tends to be my focus as well. I help them really remove the overwhelm from managing their finances, build wealth, and teach them the first steps to confident investing in the stock market. So the company that I founded was built on the premise that financial wellness is very important. So it's looking at your finances from the point of view of health and how that affects your overall health. Financial wellness is, to me, a form of self-care, because I don't care what you say, if you are not in a position where your finances are on track, your finances aren't organized, you feel a certain level of stress and overwhelm when it comes to your finances, that's going to affect your overall sense of financial wellness. So I think a lot of times we think of self-care as women as, going to get that massage, going to get that pedicure, but really we need to put finances in that overall self-care regimen, because it's really important for us to be able to get a handle on our finances. As women, we already come with slight disadvantages. It's unfortunate, but it's very true. One, we make less than our male counterparts, especially minority women, Black women. I think the only women that are a little bit closer to the scale are Asian Pacific Islander women. For every dollar that a man makes, I think a Black woman makes 60 cents. So it's really important for us to be able to know how to manage our finances, because we already come with that gap and disadvantage where we have to work doubly hard to make up that gap. So that's number one. Number two, as women, we tend to outlive men, right? So the average life expectancy in the United States for women is 81 years old. For men, we're talking 76 years old. So if you are a woman, chances are you are going to live longer. So you need to know what you're going to do, what game plan you have in your retirement to say, okay, am I going to have enough money to live on? Now, the younger you are, obviously, I wouldn't count too much on Social Security. We don't know what's going to happen with that. If you're probably 10 years, maybe 20 years away from retirement, we might still get it. So you need to have a plan, right, as it relates to retirement, because you are going to live potentially longer. And then third, with COVID-19, what we've seen is that there's a she-cession phenomenon, really. So even though unemployment rates have been low, or the lowest that we've seen in a while, and we have the Great Resignation, a lot of women have had to leave their jobs for one reason or another, maybe undertaking businesses or working in a service industry or having childcare constraints. So have had to leave their jobs to really try to address childcare or other issues. So that again is also a disadvantage in this particular pandemic environment. So with that, that behooves us to really take a look at financial wellness and how we're doing and to manage our finances overall. So when we're looking at our overall finances, there are a number of things. So if you want to ask yourself a few questions, right? How do you feel when you start thinking about your bills? Do you have a certain sense of anxiety? Do you feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck? Do you feel like your money's just, coming in and it's going out through what I call the vacuum effect, where it comes in, the moment it comes in, you're like, you pay the bills and you're like, what the heck
It's
just
gone.
happened here? It's gone. So if you're feeling like you're in that point where you don't have a good grasp on organizing your finances, that means that there's a point where your financial wellness is not where it needs to be. So today I'm going to really share with you 5 really quick steps that you can really implement right away that will help improve your overall sense of financial wellness. So number 1 is really having a positive mindset. So I think, I'm a finance person. I'm not into that woo-woo stuff called, mindset and let's, kumbaya. But no, seriously, mindset is really, really important. That makes a difference in terms of your ability to attract money. It makes a difference with your ability to get money. It makes a difference in your ability to actually manage your money. So when I'm talking about mindset, I'm talking about those things that influence, how you see money, overall beliefs. So they can start with, your experiences in childhood. Yeah, I am from a Caribbean background, originally from Haiti. And my parents taught me, you go work hard, you go to school, you get a good job and you go make that money. Those were the things that I was taught overall. And yeah, I went to school, I worked hard. I went, got a couple Ivy League degrees. And I said to myself, yes, I've made it. But was I ever taught about managing my money? Did anybody teach me about, oh, Myrna, you might want to learn how to invest over here in real estate. Myrna, you need to know about the stock market. That can grow your money. Nowhere in the academic curriculum, nowhere in my parenting background was I taught about managing money. And that's a gap in our overall system. Fortunately, there are a few states now that are like Florida, which is where I live, that are starting to implement and make financial literacy mandatory as part of their overall curriculum. So before you graduate from high school, you at least get a semester exposure to financial literacy, which is very important. So, overall, from a mindset perspective, those beliefs and things like money doesn't grow on trees or you have to work hard for money, those are all things that influence your mindset and how you think about money. But the mindset piece is not just about, how you were experiencing money in your childhood. There are adult experiences that can affect how you view money, right? So, for example, if you got passed up for that promotion that you thought, was going to get you to the next level, you got passed up for that, you might think that, oh, I'm capped in my ability to make money. And so your ability to make money now becomes dependent on what somebody else thinks, which is not true. So you have to keep forging forward and understand that even if you didn't get that promotion, there are other ways to make money. You can go to another company where you might be valued. I mean, right now with the Great Resignation, people are willing to talk, people are willing to negotiate, and people are now seeing more of the value of what people have to bring to the table. So I think you can't let your experiences shape what your final money outlook is going to be. So it's very, very important to have that positive mindset, because the positive mindset, and you might say, well, Myrna, how do I cultivate a positive mindset? If I've lived in a situation where it's always been negative, how do I get it to be positive? Well, you can do things like, affirmations, belief in yourself, tackling your money, right? If you become more proactive in looking at your money, then that helps you feel that, you're actually doing something positive. So one of the things that I do as a tip is I have little Post-it notes and I put them in the inside of my bathroom mirror. When I open my mirror every day, I'm trying to reach for my toothbrush, then I can see them and I can say them. Say, things like, I can attract wealth. There's no limit to the amount of money that I can make. It might sound like, very woo, but it works. It
But
works.
and you know what? You saying that it really does work. And not only that, how you said that sometimes our environment basically can help shape our mental attitude. So really recognizing, it sounds like you're saying just recognize what limited beliefs you might have and why you have them. And then if once you recognize them, you can identify it and then proactively, instead, like you said, instead of being reacting, just be proactive and really handle those. So I like how you have that little tip to do. That's really quick and easy. It's not that costly to get some sticky notes and do it. I like that.
So that's very important for mindset. So mindset is number one. That's what you got to tackle first, because if you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to be able to do it. So that's number one. Number two is actually building your savings plan. So a lot of times, people say, well, I don't have enough money to save, Myrna, or I don't know what I should be saving, etc. My recommendation is that you should be at least saving 10% of your income. You need to make that an automatic process and pay yourself first. What do I mean by that? Is you take the money, 10% off the top, it goes automatically into preferably an online savings account. And that way you don't have to worry about it. Whatever you have left, you work with that. The 10% goes towards paying yourself. And why do I say online savings account? Because maybe you might get one slightly better interest, but it's not as accessible. So if you're out there, you're making a purchase, your checking account is linked, or your debit card might be linked to your checking account, which connected to your savings account, that's too accessible. So you want something that is in an online savings account where it might essentially take 24 hours for you to get the money. So that helps reduce any impulsive type of purchase situation. So for me, I always tell the people that I work with, my clients, that you are your most important bill. You need to come before the mortgage. You need to come before the student loan. You need to come before the car payment, because you need to take care of you. So taking that money off the top is of critical importance. So you also need to find ways to find your own money. That's what I say, because when people tell me, 90% of my clients say, Myrna, really, I don't know where my money's going. I make good money, but it's just gone. I pay the bills, I don't know. Then we do a forensic investigation and we say, okay, where is your money going? Let's pull out those bank statements, pull out the credit card statements. Then I might see Amazon, with dinner. There are different ways. So you need to do your own forensic investigation and realize what are the things, go through and highlight your own credit card and bank statements and figure out where are the recurring expenses that don't fall in the needs category, right? And see where you might have flexibility to reduce spending there and funnel money over into your savings. Things like, subscriptions. So if you have Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV, you may have subscribed to that because you wanted to watch a new Jason Momoa show, and the show's over and you forgot about it, and you're still subscribed to Apple TV. Cut it off, funnel that money over to your savings. That gym membership, are you using it? It's time to face the fear. Are you using it? If you're not using it, cut it off and find some other way to improve your health and get your fitness in. So any of those unused type of memberships, subscriptions, places where your money's going, where you have what I call money leaks, you need to plug them, redeploy the monies over. You really need to have a budget. And I know that can be a 4-letter word for some people. We got to take a deep breath, and it doesn't have to be a 4-letter word. Budget is essentially a way for you to track your money coming in and what's going out. That's simply what it is. Depending on your budgeting style, that will affect, how you track your money. Some people use apps, some people use spreadsheets, but you want to recognize what your style is and what works for you. For example, I'm a finance person, but I am not into that spreadsheet life when it comes to my budget. My husband, he's an accountant, and he will go into that spreadsheet. And if a dollar is missing, he will go into a panic. No, that's not me. I'm more of let me get a more flexible budget structure. So here's one that I'm going to share with you is you can just look at your overall budget and your income and say 50% is going to go towards my needs. 30% will go towards my wants. So if I want to go to Amazon, buy Amazon stuff, want to go out to dinner, those are more my wants, things that I want to do with my money. And 20% should go in what I call a future you bucket. So that future you bucket goes towards paying off your debt, investing, putting money aside for your savings. So that's all you need to do. And if you really feel resistant to the whole concept of budgeting, just make sure that 20% is taken care of. And then you can go figure out between your needs and your wants what your balance is if you have flexibility. But make sure that the 20% that's focused on that future you is taken care of.
It sounds like that's flexible. That's very
That's
flexible.
It's doable. So that's what matters for you to be able to take some control over your money. So building that savings plan is key. So that's number 2. So that is something that you can potentially do. Find some areas where you have money leaks, plug those leaks, and make sure that you're at least putting aside 10% of your money away. You want to be able to save because savings, that's really important. You want to be able to have what I call a peace of mind fund, right? I don't call it an emergency fund because I think emergency, has all kinds of, anxiety-driven connotations.
Yes.
So I call it a peace of mind fund, right? So your peace of mind fund, you want to have that because that creates security. You want to be able to have some money set aside if something happens, if, the car breaks down, if, you have to go see your mother in a different state who just broke her leg. There are different things that you need to have emergency funds for. So you want to have that peace of mind when that unexpected thing happens. So that creates comfort and it's security. And I usually tell people you want to have at least 3 to 6 months of your base expenses put aside. Now, when I say base expenses, that means if, God forbid, you lost your income, what are pretty much the needs and things that you would need to spend money on? You still need to feed yourself. You still need to, have your house, pay your mortgage or your rent, etc. You need to develop what that baseline budget is and save at least 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. And I say 3 to 6 months. It also depends on where your income is coming from, right? Because if you are working a job and you are in an industry that's in high demand, where if you lose your job here, you can easily get another job, then maybe you need 3 months. But if you're in a very specific type of industry where maybe you're making more money and you're like, specific type of engineer, for example, and it may take you longer to find another job, then you want to have at least 6 months. So building the savings plan is critical for your peace of mind, to your financial wellness. So you need to have that savings plan in gear. So number 3 is once you have your savings, you also need to consider investing, right? Looking at and being able to have maybe an investment that brings you at least 7% return. And I'm saying 7% returns, that average return over a number of years in the stock market. But right now we are dealing with a very we're dealing with a lot of inflation. So we're in a high inflation period. So I think last I checked, inflation was at about 8%. So you and I both know that if you went to the grocery store 6 months ago, what you bought for $100 is not what you're going to buy for $100 today. Same thing with gas. Same gas you were buying, you probably bought 4 times less for the same tank of gas that it is now. So it's really important to understand that You probably didn't get an 8% increase in your income. If you did, then that's great and wonderful. But if you didn't, that means that your money's not working. So if your money's in a savings account, I don't know about you, your savings account is not generating much, if anything.
Maybe 1%.
Yeah, even, yeah, if that. So if your savings account's not generating anything, it's like you're eroding your purchasing power, right? Because that $100 is still remaining $100, but you have less because essentially the prices of everything is going up. So it's very important for you to have an investment that outpaces inflation, right? That outpaces inflation so that that kind of makes you whole. So investing doesn't have to be difficult. And there are a lot of myths surrounding investments. One, oh my gosh, I need a lot of money to be able to invest. That is absolutely not true. You can go out there, you're 18 years old, open a brokerage account, no problem. You don't even have to put any money in there. They don't even have any minimum investment requirements. So you can go out there and open your own account. So you don't need a lot of money to invest. I mean, right now there are different ways to invest. I always tell people with as little as $5 a day, the amount that you might spend on a McDonald's, meal or a Starbucks latte, you can put that money aside and invest and start to build your own generational wealth.
And to your point, that's an excellent point because I'm just going to drop one gem here. Since we're in the pandemic or really kind of post-pandemic, we never know if something else can come. So gas prices was really impacted by this pandemic. So if you just simply maybe looked at a gas station or a gas company like Marathon, their stock is literally right now $25 a stock. If you was to purchase that and just let it grow, that already, I believe, has a 20% return. So, and that's just been for the last 4 months. And because we're just now entering the second quarter of the year. So to your point, you could have already just invested maybe $25 and had 20% of a return and beat the bank savings. So you're absolutely right.
Exactly. And if you're that type of person, you're like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to dabble in, I'm a little bit more risk averse and don't want to do one specific stocks. You can do an exchange traded fund. So XLE, which is the energy exchange traded fund, to your point, that has companies like a Marathon in it, has done very well during this whole time where gas prices have gone up. So you have to really understand, where you want to invest, but whether it's in the stock market, whether it's in real estate, you need something or a vehicle that's going to make your money grow, that's going to help you build wealth. And that is very, very important. You can't just put your money on the mattress, put it in a savings account. That's not going to work overall to help you build wealth. So you need to have special avenues to build wealth, investments, whether it be a business, whether it be stock market, real estate, invest to build wealth. So that's 3. Number 4, in terms of building your sense of financial wellness, is protecting your assets. So part of the reason that I founded this particular company is that I knew a lot of women that were very close to me, right, that started a foundation with the love of their life, and then the love of their life soon became their nemesis. And after 18, 20 years with that person, they come out the other side with nothing to show for it. But why is that? Because 1, they didn't know where their assets were, right? You've got to know where your assets are. So even if you're in a relationship, partnership, spouse, whatever, you need to understand, and if that person is the person who's managing the finances, you need to have visibility into what's happening. Even if you choose to let that person manage the finances, which you should probably have an equal say and equal partnership in that management. But if you're not, you need visibility into your assets. You need to know what's happening. You need to have a say in those particular decisions. So having visibility into your assets is very, very important, because I have seen too many women come out the other side with nothing to show for it because they just let their partner handle the finances. And so it's of critical importance for you to be involved in your financial future, whether you're with a partner or spouse, you need to be involved. Now, if you're a single person, you need to also know where all of your assets are. So if you were in that job from 5 years ago and you left your 401k there and you don't know what's happening with it, that is not knowing where your assets are. So you need to understand where your assets are and what's happening with them. So that is a critical piece. But beyond knowing where your assets are, you need to have the ability to protect those assets. So if you're in a situation where, you have assets, you have people that rely on your income, right? You may have children, you may have, people that you're taking care of. You need to have insurance. You need to have things like insurance that, if something happens, the person that's relying on your income, there can be something left. So you should also have things like disability insurance, because let's say, God forbid, you can't work and something happens, it's good to have that ability to have income. In dealing with the pandemic, a lot of times, people got sick and people didn't know what their wishes were, or people, passed away because of the virus, unfortunately, and they didn't have a will in place. They didn't know where the kids should be going, where the assets should be going. You don't want to be in a situation where, you've worked hard, you've put your stuff together, you have assets, and then, the people that are supposed to go to it can't go to because you didn't have your stuff in order. So you should have a will. You should have also a healthcare proxy or some type of document or something that tells your loved ones how you want them to deal with things if you are in a situation where you're incapacitated. So if you can't handle your stuff, or if you don't want to be resuscitated, extra measures, people need to know that type of thing. So that's all part of protecting your assets, because you want to have the peace of mind that if something is happening, that your assets are going to the right place and that they're not going to end up in probate and there's going to be a battle over where your things should go. Whereas if you have all your protection mechanisms in place, then that's a much better situation to be in.
And you just hit a really important piece too, because let's say, it's nothing tied with the pandemic or anything, life happens. So we can easily just be enjoying our life and get into a bad car accident. And then unfortunately, that's it. So if you have someone that you live with, like you mentioned, a spouse, children, you're taking care of your parents, and you don't have those proper things in place, a will, life insurance, living benefits, then that is going to leave a bill instead of leaving an inheritance. And that's really the big difference that you're speaking here. When you prepare properly and you have the right things in place and you know where your assets are, in turn, you're actually being proactive and not reactive. So now, something, God forbid, happens and you pass away, you're able to leave, maybe you have a $500 policy. So your income that is going to be missing from the household is now that not only did the person that's missing you get a chance to properly mourn, but they don't have to worry about the stress of trying to figure out, how to take care of selling a property and doing things of that nature. It's all taken care of because you left an inheritance, you left that money from your policy. Or like you mentioned, where your assets are. So if you have a retirement plan, guess what? You have a beneficiary up to date on that policy. So it's going to someone and not going back to the government. So you're hitting on some key points, guys. I hope you're writing this down. I love that point.
So protecting your assets and knowing where they are, that's number 4 in boosting your financial wellness. And now the last point that I want to touch upon as it relates to financial wellness has to do with your goals. How many times as women have we said, we've sidelined ourselves, sidelined our goals and said, you know what, I really want to do this, but I'll wait till the kids grow up. I really want to do this, but my job's taking up too much time. I want to do this, but I got to take care of my sick mom. So we tend to say we have things that we want to do, but we say, okay, now's not the time. We're going to put everybody else before us and then not do it.
So true.
So a big piece of financial wellness to me is making sure that if you are making money, you need to be able to use that money to accomplish your goals and what you want to do in life, right? because at the end of the day, you only have one life to live, right? Don't you want it to be your best life? Because you can't keep on working and working and working to pay bills. That's not an optimal life. You want to be able to say, okay, in your life, if there are certain things that you wanted to get accomplished, that you're getting those done. So you need to be able to connect the fact that, okay, here's the money, but then here's my goal. And what are the priorities as it relates to those goals? I mean, those goals can be anything, like you want to be able to, save a good amount of money, for your kid going to college. I have a daughter going to college in the fall. You want to be able to start a new business. You may have always had that dream of writing that new book. You've got to think about the things that you want in life, because you can't keep on sidelining them, because you want to be able to use your money to help you bring joy to yourself and allow you to hit those goals. Because once you have a particular goal, you need to have a plan for it, because essentially, I forget who said it, but said that a goal, without a plan is essentially just a wish. So you got to put a plan together, and you need to have the money for the plan, and you need to have the timeline and understand, okay, here's what it's going to take for me to reach this goal, but be working towards it. That will help you feel a lot better as it comes to your financial wellness. So that is very important, because I don't think we spend enough time. We need to write down our goals, see what it's going to take to make them happen, and keep on working towards them. So that's very important.
I think that's an awesome point. Goals are important. And I can't think of who wrote that quote, but I really enjoy that quote. It's so true. You're just wishing, it's wishful thinking, which nothing's going to be fruitful from if you don't have a plan in place.
Right.
So your five steps that you just ran down to us, these are vital. And it sounds like they're building blocks. So you need all five of them, right, to be successful. So how can someone look forward to being successful in a program that you offer with these 5 building blocks?
Okay. Well, I offer 2 specific programs. One of them is called the Financial Breakthrough Coaching Program. And we are running that program right now, and do have special bonus for anybody on this particular call. But this program pretty much tackles all 5 areas in terms of your financial wellness, because we tackle all of the building blocks and make things really simple. Because for me, I'm all about simplicity. A lot of times when you say money, managing your finances, people tend to get a headache, their eyes gloss over, or, things happen and they're like, Myrna, I don't want to deal with it. It's an ostrich, in the sand phenomenon. No, I help make this really easy. It's a group coaching program. So we come together in a group, leverage, get a lot of ideas from different people in the group. You go through an initial financial checkup. So, just like you go through the doctor's office, they check your blood pressure, you have to step on that scale. Unfortunately, they have metrics. So we go through and assess and give you a financial checkup. Say, okay, what do you have? What don't you have? Right? And assess what you don't have, so that throughout the 12-week period, we can work on that. And then we look at finding out where your money is going. That whole forensic investigation process that I was telling you about, we do that. Plugging your money leaks. See if you have any money leaks. We figure out a budget based on what your style is and what you can manage. That's a whole part of the process. We help you build a savings plan. Because for me, coming out of my program, my clients have increased savings coming out, increased investments, increased net worth, and reduced debt, because we tackle all of that in the program. So by the time you come out, you are already making strides as it relates to that. You can build a savings plan. And I also teach you the first steps to confident investing. So if you don't know anything about investing, then we're going to cover that over a 2-week period, where we do the basics, and so that you can pick your own investments and understand how to do that, and understand what you're comfortable with and what your risk profile is as an investor. Because when I look at investing, it's kind of like, food, right? Some people like spicy food. Some people, are vegetarian. They have different styles. So you need to understand what your style is as an investor before you plunge in and do things. And then we also take a look at your goals. It's very important. Take a holistic view of your goals and say, okay, what do you want to accomplish once you have, money identified for your savings, your investing? What do you want to accomplish? And have you write those down, timeline them, and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. So at the end of the program, you are going to have a wealth management blueprint. So that is going to cover all of the basic pillars that will help you build your generational wealth. So the program is for you if you're a high achieving professional woman, you're established in your career or in your business, you're making good money, but you know that you could be doing more to take your finances to the next level, and you want actionable advice that will help you improve your finances right now, and you're ready to change your financial situation so that you can build wealth. That's who the program is for. And I've taken people through this program, and the transformation has been great, at least very rewarding for me to see people increase their net worth. I had a client, she was renting for the longest time, had no interest in buying a house. And through the process of explaining, here's how net worth works, here's what buying a house can actually do for you in terms of building equity and really taking you to the next level when it comes to building your wealth. She put down, some money, she saved some money and put down an offer in a house. And by the end of the program, she was out there. But she told me, Myrna, had you not brought about visibility as to net worth and how I can build my wealth, I probably still would be renting at this time.
So she's definitely in a much better place. And
yes,
and that's probably one of the highest ways that you can increase your wealth overnight. In a sense, of course, buying a house is a process, but let's say she bought a home for 300,000 while she was renting. Now she's not wasting that money in rent, and you just actually grew your wealth to 300,000 because you have an asset that's a house. So that's very powerful transformation. And it sounds like with your program that you're giving the right allotted time to allow someone to absorb the information that they're learning. So it's not overwhelming, and you're holding their hand with the
exactly.
group coaching, and they're able to see other people change. You're able to see them change. And so it's actually leveraging, like you said, each other experiences and learning in a group setting from other people as you apply it. So, is it easy to start the program? Is it okay if I drop a link so they can have it now? Or how do you want them to go about even applying? Because it sounds amazing.
Yes. If to drop a link, I think you should have my link that has my strategy session where they can set up a call with me to get some additional information.
I just dropped that, guys, right now. So look below.
Okay, great. So that's program number 1. And then we have another program that I'm going to be starting in June, and it's called Unleash Your Inner Investor Coaching Program. And it's more of an investing 101. So what I've gotten a lot of is, Myrna, I think I'm good with, all this other, money stuff. I really, really, really want to learn and focus on investing. And I've gotten a lot of inquiries. So I established this program to really take advantage of the opportunities in the stock market right now. There's a lot of volatility in the stock market. If you have any type of portfolio is going down, but you can't necessarily let that deter you, because there are opportunities with market going down that presents opportunities, and you want to be prepared to take advantage of those opportunities. So this program is a 5-week group coaching program. Again, by the end of it, you're going to learn how to make your own investment picks. Again, know what type of investor you are, open a brokerage account, and we're going to go through really investment decisions, what's involved in selling, what you need to consider when you're building your own portfolios. And for anyone who signs up for either program before May 31st, I'm offering a couple of bonuses. One is an additional one-on-one. So I forgot to mention that in the Financial Breakthrough Coaching Program, there are 3 one-on-ones. So 3 points in time where we sit down and look at your own personal situation and review any of the topics through the program that you may need further individual help with. But I'm also offering in the Unleash Your Investor Coaching Program one-on-one. And then, so as anybody signing on before May 31st, I am offering an additional one-on-one to go through a retirement plan overview. Because what I found is that a lot of people, they're like, I don't know what I have, if I'm going to have enough to retire, I'm just going to count on Social Security. So we work through that. And then I'm also offering a free Amazon gift card. So at the link that you provide, anybody need any additional information, I would be more than happy to discuss either coaching program. It's really the Financial Breakthrough Coaching Program is a program that I've had for a little bit, and I've seen the transformation and the 12 weeks. It doesn't go by, it goes by pretty quickly, but to your point, Christina, it's the time required to be able to absorb the information at your own pace and for you to be able to make those decisions that help you build the building blocks.
I like that. Now, where else can they find you? If any social media links for me to drop right below now too?
Yes, I am on Instagram at Empower Financial Wellness, all one word. On Instagram, I have a website. It's empowerfinancialwellness.com. And I can also be reached via email at info@empowerfinancialwellness.com. And I am on Facebook based on my profile, based on my name, as you can see here, Myrna Lane Hippolyte.
You have given so much value. Thank you so much, Myrna. And it was a pleasure having you today, speaking to everyone. And guys, all the links are now below. Reach out. And again, now that you have a social media too, and the info, if you just want to just say, hey, I have a question. I don't know if I qualify for the program. Send the inquiry, find out. Don't wait any longer. This information is valuable. So the more you let time pass, that's more that you're really costing yourself, because you're not saving appropriately. You're not thinking about how to make your money grow with these investment strategies. You're staying idle when it comes to your retirement, because you're not mapping it out to planning with those goals that we're talking about. So don't let another day delay. The links are below. And I appreciate you guys listening in today. You can also go to my website, chicbusinessboss.com or visionarymindsetacademy.com. And you guys already know all the information is here on my site, but you can, if you forget and you don't see the links for some reason, you can always go there to see exactly where to contact her too, so you can get a hold of all this valuable information. Anything else you want to tell the people before we go?
The only last thing that I would say is I would encourage you to act, whether you do so through me, one of my programs, or anybody else. We really want to be in a position to build wealth. And we need to take advantage of all the opportunities that exist out there for us to do that and to be better stewards of the money that we receive. In terms of a resource that I would like to drop out there is a very good resource that covers all of the aspects and then some more of financial wellness, is a book by Tiffany Aliche, and her book is called Get Good with Money. And she was, school teacher, and she lost her job, ended up living with her mom, and ended up learning a lot about personal finance. And she really does a good job, very well-known author. She does a good job putting all the basic concepts of financial wellness. So if you want to pick up a book, Get Good with Money from Tiffany Aliche is a very good book that covers everything that we talked about today and a little bit more.
That is a gem that she's dropping. Well, thank you so much, guys, for sticking in today. Again, remember, all her information is here right below you, or you're welcome to go to the website to pick it up. The point is, and I love your point that you just dropped in with, make sure you act now. Don't wait. And if it's not Myrna, then go somewhere else where you can become a good steward of your money. All right, guys, until next time, you know how to find us, and I'll see you in the next episode.